Welcome back to OpenLine. Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency wildlife officers are here answering all kinds of questions about hunting in advance of deer season, which opens this weekend. And a bunch of calls. So let's just go back to the phones. Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Hey, I just wanted to clarify or make sure I understand completely what the one officer said earlier. Then I have a small question afterwards. If I understand correctly, the officer said that baiting is illegal or feeding deer is illegal. I think he was talking about hunting over top of it. It's not illegal to feed deer, as I'm aware. And secondly, if I'm not mistaken, last year there was a lot of controversy over that, and I thought there was a rule established that stated you could not shoot a deer within a 250-yard radius of deer feed, corn, or feeder, or what have you. I'd like to hold on to listen, please.
Okay, what about that?
Yeah, he's correct.
Yeah, and that's what he said. You can feed deer. I remember you saying that. You can feed deer, you just can't hunt over it. And there is a 250-yard, basically a circle. If you want to put out a feeder, you can't shoot into that 250-yard circle, and you can't be inside that 250-yard circle. So if you have a pile of bait, there's 250 yards that are off limit. A circle around it. You can't be inside it. Can't shoot a deer or harvest a deer inside that circle. But yeah, he's correct on 250 yards.
And there's always situations, but once again, that 250-yard radius, that is not, like, and that caller said it perfectly, that's not law. That's an agency a rule that we came up with within the agency on how we want to deal with hunting over bait. So, but the law states, you cannot hunt over bait.
Okay.
Or hunt by the aid of bait.
Right.
That's the actual law, but the agency came up with a rule within the agency on how we want to enforce the law of hunting by aid of bait.
And perfectly legal to feed in your backyard if you want to watch them. It's perfectly legal.
Right.
Yeah.
You can feed them, you just can't.
Yeah. Can't
shoot them at the time. Okay, let's go to well, not Brooks. Let's go to let's go to Tom. Hello, Tom.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I was wanting to know if it was legal to hunt a piebald deer in Tennessee.
Perfectly legal.
Yeah.
Albinos are off limits, and the difference between an albino and a piebald is a little bit of coloration. An albino is going to have a pink nose, pink eyes, completely white fur, pink hooves, light colored hooves. A piebald is going to have a little bit of brown somewhere on it. It's going to have dark eyes, dark pigment on the eyes, and dark nose. So pretty easy to tell the difference, but a piebald is legal, an albino is illegal.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Let's go to Randy. Hello, Randy.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I just want to know if it said 3 does limit. Is that every county in the state, or which county?
So 3 does, is that every county?
That's only in Unit L. The state is divided up into different units, and that's in Unit L, where it's 3 per county. And he can go to our hunting guide, and in our hunting guide it specifies what county your unit, what unit you are in your county.
And most of Middle Tennessee is in Unit L. The far western part of the state next to the Mississippi River is Unit A, a few counties in Unit A, which is different harvest limits. And some of the Cumberland Plateau around Crossville is Unit A, and then east of that would be Unit B, which is even more restrictive on harvest limits. But right here we're very liberal, Unit L, liberal in what you can shoot.
And why would it vary?
We've just got a larger population here. We've got lots of deer. Whereas out east Tennessee, their numbers are a lot lower.
Mountainous, not as much agriculture, carrying capacity is a lot lower in the east.
That's interesting. So it varies across the state.
We're managing the herd.
Right.
That's why it can't be the same all the way throughout the state. We've got a lot of different habitats across the state, just like each lake is a little bit different. Whether it's a river lake or an impoundment, we manage our fish differently in each lake as well.
Let's go to 2. Let's go to 2. Randy. Hello, Randy.
Yeah, this is Randy.
Go right ahead.
Well, I can tell you the same question. Jackson County allowed 3 does?
I believe Jackson County is in Unit L, and I can look really quickly. It would just take a second. Jackson County is in Unit A, so it does not have the liberal limit of 3 doe per day every day. So you're in Unit A, but on page 24 of the hunting guide, if you get the hunting guide or go online or go to your local outdoor shop and pick up a hunting guide, Jackson County is in Unit A.
There you go. Randy, thank you for the call. Let's go to Ozzy. Hello, Ozzy.
Yes, go ahead.
Go right ahead, Ozzy.
Yes, I'm Ozzy from Madison. Thank you, gentlemen, for the service and job that y'all do.
Thank you.
The second question I've got, I put in over that Violet Creek over on Percy Priest, and I'm just going out through there, and I thought something wasn't right. Like after the year, I mean, I guess squirrel season might be open up there, but I was thinking that, it was kind of scaring me because I heard the shotgun going off in the woods and, like, the pellets going through the trees, and I thought that was awful close to the border down there, between the lake and whatever, and I just would like to need some more insight on that.
What time of morning? Were you hearing it in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a early wood duck season.
That was Sunday. Yes, sir. That was Sunday morning, and like I say, it kind of spooked me. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought it was awful close to the water line to be firing shots. And I thought that was,
You thought it was close. Okay, what about?
It's dove season too right now, and there is that's the WMA around the back of Violet Creek back there, and there is a small field back there where people dove hunting. And I was out working the lake a few weeks ago during dove season, and I heard the shooting myself. So it's some dove hunters that are more than likely back there, or it could have been somebody hunting the early teal season or goose season.
And when you hear WMA, that we have wildlife management areas in the state that we manage, and some of them are managed differently. And Percy Priest is that part of that area, which is around Percy Priest Lake, and that's one of the areas where people go in by boat and hunt some of the islands around on Percy Priest Lake. It might be kind of a point for him to make as far as the hunting from a boat.
Well, yeah, we hold on the line if you're there, but that is an important point. What about the whole notion of hunting from a boat?
Of course, on Percy Priest, that is a wildlife management area, so you can hunt the islands out there. But along the Cumberland River, there's a common misconception that they can go up and down the Cumberland River through the Davidson, Cheatham County area and hunt from a boat, deer hunt from a boat, shoot a deer and go and get it. Well, it's all the property along the Cumberland River in this area is privately owned, so you cannot just shoot a deer or crows, during the crow season, or ducks during the duck season, if it's on land or if it falls on land, because that land is private property. So if you make any attempt to retrieve your game, if you kill a deer or if you kill a duck that falls on the property, you could be trespassing. You will be trespassing unless you have permission.
People might say, well, what about Army Corps of Engineers? If it's on Army Corps of Engineer land, what about that?
Some of that land is huntable. It depends on the property, but some of it is huntable, and you just have to know your property boundaries before you hunt and know where those boundaries are.
Yeah, like the area he's talking about, all the Corps of Engineers has is a flowage easement, and sometimes people get that confused with either our management area or public land or something like that. But like he's talking about, it's the same in Rutherford County with the creeks and rivers there. The landowners own either to the middle of the creek, they own the bottom, or they own through it. Somebody could float on there and be okay. Once you, like you said, once you step out or you tie up or anchor anything, technically, you're trespassing.
And just to clarify too, they can duck hunt on the Cumberland River because people duck hunt on there, but it has to be a water setup, and they have to, like I said, if the duck falls into the water, they can go retrieve it. But if it falls on land, that's where they're going to have to have permission to retrieve that duck. But they can hunt on the, duck hunt on the Cumberland River because that occurs.
And a lot of people think the misconception is if I shoot a deer or a turkey or an animal and it goes across my property line onto someone else's property, they believe that they can go retrieve it. But they're trespassing once they go over there. They need permission to go after that animal once they've shot it.
So those are complicated issues, and that's a big part of what you all are dealing with. And I'm sure, again,
kind of a referee in the woods a lot of times.
Yeah, you're a referee. Yeah. And people would think, okay, I'm on the water, that's public, so I can do whatever I want. But you don't think, okay, if it's on land, that's the true gauge of where this is actually taking place. It's not where you're shooting, it's where it's landing. All right, let's go to, is it Henry on line 4? Henry, is that you?
Yes.
Great, go right ahead.
All right. I have a question. I had a couple of young fawns lose their mother, so I put some corn out to feed them to help them survive, you know, without their mother. And I read in the book that you can stop feeding 10 days before you hunt. So now I want to know, before I read you had to stop baiting before the season started. Now, I'm not going to bow hunt, so I want to know if it's okay for me to feed during bow season as long as I'm going to hunt and take it up 10 days before I muzzleloader.
Yeah, correct. All the bait would have to be gone 10 days prior to you hunting. Don't just stop feeding on day 10. You know, you put out 50 pounds of corn, and on day 10, you make sure it's all up and totally gone 10 days prior to you wanting to hunt. But technically, if you're not going to bow hunt, he could feed all bow season long. So.
Okay. All right, Henry, thank you for the call. Let's go to Mike. Hello, Mike. Mike, are you there? Mike is not there.
We lost him.
We lost Mike. All right. So there are all kinds of issues there. And now you deal a lot with boating. We talk about hunting from a boat and some of the issues that surround that. But there are also some new requirements, or some not new but important requirements. What do people need to know there?
Right. Anybody born after January 1st, 1989 has to have a boating license to drive a boat. So that meaning not a driver's license, but a license for boating, a boating certificate license, meaning that person, if you're born after January 1st, 1989, has to take a state mandated boat education course, which the agency, you know, sponsors. And so that's a common thing that you know, we're seeing during the summers out on the lakes, is a lot of people are still unaware of that law, but you know, it's put into place to help try to curb some of the boating fatalities that we've had over the past you know, 20-30 years. So
because we have some of the busiest lakes in the entire country, right?
Yes. Yep.
Boating lakes in the entire country.
Percy Priest and Old Hickory. If you're ever out there on a holiday weekend, you'll see it's almost like bumper boats out there. I mean, it's packed out, and it creates a dangerous situation if, you know, there's people out there that are you know, not familiar with how to operate a boat, a jet ski. You know, it's a very dangerous situation. You know, we want people to have a good time on the lake, but we also want people to be safe, and so.
And we see that even the people that aren't required to take the test now, the older people, we see them for the first time out on the water. They go by a boat, and they don't have to do anything but put it on the water and start driving, and so it's comical at the ramp a lot of times when they're trying to back the boat in for the first time. They haven't unstrapped it from the trailer, and they're trying to get it off, and it's still strapped to the trailer, and just a lot of errors that occurred that they are not aware of, that somebody with experience would be easily handled.
So everybody born after what, 1981?
January 1st, 1989.
89. Okay, 1989.
So.
And okay, we have to break here in a moment. But what is in the test? Or not a test. What is in the? Everything's on the test.
It's a course.
It's not easy.
It's a course. It's a 4-hour course, and I'll actually be teaching one in Dixon County tomorrow at the EMA building off Beasley Drive. If anybody's
well,
interested.
I bet there are a lot of people in there though. I mean, because there are a lot of people that want to boat. You probably have a big class.
Yep. And we take walk-ins, so if anybody wants to take it, they can just show up.
All right, we'll say that again before it's over. Okay, take a break. If you want to call, there's the number. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.